Hi, welcome back to Michael and Michael, where I'm interviewing my father, while we're here, stuck in quarantine.
What's up?
I've got several questions that I've been meaning to ask you that I can hopefully answer for the people on this television program. You yourself have been a home brewer for a number of years, and to my knowledge, you've been brewing since before I was born, is that correct?
Long before. Started brewing with a friend down the street back in 1992.
1992. My God, that was well before I was born.
Yeah.
Did you have the same level of equipment? Because now we're pretty just
Back then
done.
we used plastic buckets. We did small batches because we didn't have big pots, 2.5 gallon buckets. Our first beers were an Irish Red, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And we made that one like half a dozen times. And we used to drink the beer on Sundays while we're watching football and pounding a bunch of hot wings. So Scott Baird and I, we were co-founders of Mount Perdell Brewery.
Is that you didn't call it that?
Yes, we did.
You did? That's
we did.
why it's called Mount Perdell Brewery?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I didn't know it was
we
that
even
old.
had labels and all kinds of stuff back then.
Were you just giving it out to friends like you are now?
Parties. We used to have
Just parties?
We used to have gatherings,
Gatherings?
In the backyard and at Maria's house where we would bring over like a 12-pack of our beers and people go, "Oh, what beer is this?" And say, "Oh, we made it." And their eyes would get this big.
What stopped it for like almost 20 years? You didn't start again until I was like
How old
18.
are you, son?
I'm 22.
There's the answer to your question.
So, well then why did you stop for us? It's not like, what did you, why? Because it's like, that's also the same reason you said you stopped having a motorcycle until we were like old enough to like kind of be out of the house.
Yep.
So why 22 years without, well, more 20 years without brewing? I think you started again when I was 18 or something, but still 1992.
It came down to the time and space required. At the time, we were in a different living situation where I didn't have my own space here.
You weren't here? Oh.
We were here, but it wasn't my space.
Right.
Yeah, so we didn't really have the opportunity for me to build the brew shed and have all the fermentation equipment and so forth.
So what, you were doing this out of your old apartment or something?
We were doing it at his house.
His house. Oh, I see. Okay. Wow. And why did you keep doing Irish Red? Was that just your most popular one, or that was the one you're like, we know how to do this, let's not try anything else?
No, it was more along the lines of what was available. So back in the early 90s, not only just the equipment, but the ingredients were much more rudimentary. You had 1 or 2 different styles of dry yeast. You had no starters, none of this stuff.
No
you had
kits.
no grain. It was all malted extract, so the powder.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what we would do time and time again, because we didn't want them, neither one of us liked the Budweiser type beers with no flavor and no color to them.
Right.
We did do some porters though.
Porters are good.
That's where I came up with my black Bing Cherry porter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Haven't made that in a long time.
Did you start brewing beer because you were unsatisfied with what you could buy at the time, or because you were interested in the craft?
I was interested in the craft because Scott and myself, we were at some other, they had home brews. Oh, we could do this, and then we did it. There was a home brew shop in San Rafael off of Francisco Boulevard. It's not there anymore, but they had a lot of rudimentary stuff with ingredients and stuff like that. So very few hops, very few yeasts, but a lot of them. And lots of, they had liquid malt extract and they had powdered dry extract. So we usually went with the dry. It was cheaper.
Now that you're brewing with me, what beer are you most proud of now that we've done?
That we've done?
Well, what beers are you proud of if you can't pick a favorite?
Well, I mean, I think, we've had a lot of success with your beers. The Hoppy Kolsch. Even Damien, who's the president of our beer club, said
Yeah.
you were ahead of the curve because
Oh,
now we're
yes.
starting to see recipes where people are adding IPA hops,
Yeah, they're
dry
adding
hopping,
Cascades.
dry hopping the Kolsch,
Right.
which is an interesting thing. I mean, it really tastes like a Kolsch, but you get that kind
Extra
of punch
hop.
from
Yeah.
the hops. But the two beers that you made for NCHF last year were, you made the black honey
Black
ale,
honey wheat.
black honey wheat, yeah, and then we made fruit beer sort of with
It was like mango,
mango and apricot ale.
apricot, and I think peach. We
Yeah,
had one extra
well, we
can of some
put a
of the
little
fruit.
peach in at the end.
Right.
But it kind of came out as a peachy, nectarine type flavor of an ale.
It
was
popular.
clear. It was clear, but people were like, interesting. But at Oktoberfest last year, those were probably our most popular beers. Besides that, I do the big stouts. Stout likers like those beers.
Well, thank you very much for being on our show. We don't
Social
shake hands.
distance.
Oh, stop!
Social distancing.
Thank you for watching Michael on Michael. We'll be on next time asking more about beer.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Angels fly because they take themselves lightly.
Woof.